Hello students, I'm here with another video from the chapter of class 7th Science NCERT book. Before starting today's video, I would like to tell you all that till now what all things we have discussed in this chapter. So children, I have given you the concept that how the fibers are being processed and how they are being made into the form of the fabric. So the thin threads, how they are going to be transformed into the fabric. This is what we are studying. It is kind of a story of the fiber till how they are going to make it, how they are going to be weaved or woven into the fabric. So we have to study mainly the animal fibers. Here two animal fibers we are mainly concentrating. That is, one is about the wool, which is obtained from the wool yielding animal. Similarly, one more type of the fabric is the silk, which is being obtained from another small insect called the silkworm. Okay, so in last class we have already completed about the first fabric, which is being made from the wool from the sheep, which we are obtaining from the sheep, that is the wool. Okay, so the fibers, the hair of the wool is being processed by shearing, then scoring, then sorting, removal of burrs, and then after that it is going to be woven into the yarns, and then how these wool is going to be knitted into the sweaters, and we are wearing those sweaters for in the winter season so that we are not catching the cold. Okay, so we have studied about this processing of the wool. Then after that we are continuing with the second type of the animal fiber, that is the silk. So the silk fiber or the silk thread is obtained from a very small insect called silk moth, and the stage from where they are being obtaining, where we obtain the silk, is the cocoon. Okay, so we were studying about the life cycle of the silk moth in our last class. So I told you that adult silk moth is going to, the female silk moth is going to lay eggs on the mulberry leaves, and because mulberry is the main, they are the main food of these mulberry silkworm, so they lay egg on these mulberry leaves. Then once the egg hatches, they will be developed into the second stage, that is the caterpillar stage, and they will be giving rise to the silkworm. These silkworm are very hungry. They are always eating. So they eat very voraciously, and they are going to eat and eat the what they are going to eat. They are going to eat their favorite food, that is the mulberry leaves. After eating the mulberry leaves, they are slowly stop. After once they are gaining its size, they are becoming 3 to 4 times in its size. Then they stop eating. Once they stop eating, they enter into the third stage, that is called as the pupa. Now they are not going to move anymore. They are not going to eat anymore. They are going to sleep, and they are going to take rest inside their home. Inside their home, the further development takes place. Okay, so this home is said to be as cocoon. So inside this cocoon, what is happening? The silk moth is present. This caterpillar is going to be present, and it is going to further develop. So it is going to synthesize one of the tiny shiny thread, which is made up of protein, and this protein is going to, it is like in the form of the fiber, and this fiber is said to be as the silk. This is the stage from where we are obtaining the silk thread. How we are obtaining? Once the silkworm is going to grow, it leaves this cocoon. Again it forms adult silk moth, and the cocoon is left like that. This cocoon is taken up. This is going to be processed, and how this is going to be processed today I am going to teach you all. So this was about the part which we were studying in the last class. This was about the life cycle of the silk moth. Okay, now how the mulberry silk is being obtained, I will be telling you. So after this life history, say I told you that there are various types of the silk present. Based upon the type of the silk, that is the Munga silk, Kosa silk, mulberry silk, it is the most common form of the silk. Okay, Now the next thing is that is activity number 3.5. You have to do this activity what is given over here. Collect the pieces of the silk cloth of various types and paste them in your scrapbook. You can find out them from the tailor's shop among the heap of the waste pieces cut. Okay, take the help of your mother, aunt or teacher to identify the types of silk such as mulberry silk, tussar silk, eri silk, munga silk, etc. Compare the texture of the silk cloth and the artificial that of the artificial silk pieces which contain the synthetic fiber. Okay, then try to collect the pictures of the different moth whose caterpillars provide various types of silk. So we have to study about the different types of silk by collecting the photographs. Okay, so this was about the life history of the silk moth. Now I'll be telling you more things about regarding this second fiber. This is the silk. Next is again activity number 3.6. Take an artificial silk thread and a pure silk thread. Burn these threads carefully. Do you notice any difference in the smell while burning? Now burn a wool fiber carefully. Did you smell an artificial silk also? So we have to see this by burning the various threads of the artificial silk, natural silk, as well as the natural fiber. Okay, so we can see that when we will burn the natural fibers, then what happens, they will be burning. But if we are going to burn the artificial fibers, whether it is artificial silk or whether it is the artificial wool, it is going to melt. It is not going to burn. It is not going to catch fire. It is going to melt. Okay, so this is what is the difference. Remember when the cocoon stage is reached in the life history of the silk moth, we will have to do this activity. Then activity 3.7, again one more activity is given, one more experiment is given. I'll just read it out. Photocopy figure number 3.9. Cut out pieces of the stages of the life cycle of the silk moth. Paste them into pieces of the cardboard or the chart paper. Jumble them up. Now try to arrange the stages in the correct sequence in the cyclic form. Whoever so do the fastest will win. Okay, you can play even. Then we can also describe the life cycle in your own words. We can draw them in your notebook. Okay, then in India, women are significantly involved in various kinds of industries related with the silk production. So these are rearing of the silk, reeling of the silk from the cocoon, and the processing of the raw silk into the fabrics. By their enterprise, they contribute to the nation's economy. China leads the world in the production of silk. India also ranks almost leading silk producing countries. So in India also silk production is at a great hike, and even women are also going to participate. They are participating in the processing of the silk. I'll be telling you how the silk is getting processed. Okay, then we'll be understanding. Now the next part is from cocoon to silk. We will be studying about the processing of the silk from cocoon to silk. How the processing of the silk moth from the stage of cocoon to the silk is taking place. We will be studying this. Okay. Now, from obtaining silk moth are reared, and then the cocoons are getting collected, and the silk thread are being made. So first stage is the rearing of the silk moth. As the first stage of the processing of the wool was rearing of the sheep. So if we are going to take care of the animal, then only we are going to get their product, isn't it? If we are not going to care, these products will not be so good the quality would be reduced. So the first is the rearing of okay, so silkworms are reared. Silkworms, so sometimes it is said to be a silk moth. Rearing of the silkworm is being done. A female silk moth lays hundreds of eggs at a time. The eggs are stored carefully on the strips of cloth or the paper and sold to the silkworm farmers. So adult silk moth is not being reared. We will rear what we are going to rear. We are going to rear the silkworm, because this is what is the stage which will be transforming into the next stage, from where we will be obtaining the silk that is from the cocoon. So silkworm is going to be converted in the next stage, in the pupa stage. Then that pupa is going to live inside a house named cocoon. This cocoon will be responsible for the development of the silk thread that will be processed, and we will be obtaining the silk thread for making the fibers, or for making the fabrics. So rearing of the silkworm, a female silk moth is going to lay hundreds of eggs. From there it is going to lay the egg. It is going to lay the egg on the leaves of the mulberry. Okay. The farmer keeps these eggs under hygienic conditions and under the stable condition of temperature and humidity. So humidity, temperature is to be maintained for the rearing of the silk, because the silkworm, they also require a proper temperature, proper care, proper hygienic conditions for the development under the suitable condition of temperature and humidity. So while rearing, what is to be kept in mind? The temperature, the cleanliness or the hygiene. Okay, then humidity. All these are important: humidity, temperature, and also the hygienic condition. Okay, so these are responsible for rearing. The eggs are warmed to a suitable temperature for the larvae to hatch from the eggs. As the eggs of the hens are being incubated by these animals, similarly these this silkworm will also come out. They will be hatched from the eggs at a particular temperature. This is done when the mulberry tree bears a fresh crop of leaves. So when the mulberry tree, because you know that the favorite food of this silkworm or the silk moth is mulberry. So when mulberry leaves are going to be regrown after the autumn season, what happens? The leaf fall will happen. Once the tree is going to bear the new leaves, this silkworm is going to be ready to be hatched out. So till that time, the farmers will take care of the eggs, and then as the time of the mulberry leaves would be there, then these silkworms are going to the eggs are going to be they will be giving them a proper temperature. Once they are giving them a proper temperature, they will be hatching out from these eggs, because of the presence of the proper temperature, humidity, and also the hygienic conditions. So fresh leaves would be providing the fresh food to these developing silkworm, because they are voracious feeders. अगर silk moth के लिए mulberry leaves नहीं रहेंगी, then what would happen? What these silkworms are going to eat? They will be dying because of the lack of food. So for taking care of the food, the farmers will only provide a proper temperature at the time when the mulberry trees would be bearing the lots of new leaves. Okay, then after that, the eggs are being warmed to a suitable temperature for the larvae to be hatched out from the eggs, and also they will be from the eggs, they are being done on the mulberry leaves. Trees are going to bear the mulberry leaves, proper mulberry leaves. Okay, then the larvae are called caterpillars of the silkworm. They eat day and night. See, if the trees are not having the leaves, then what these are going to eat? It is said that they eat day and night. They are very voracious feeders because they have to grow in size. For growing in size, proper nutrition has to be taken by these silkworms especially. So these silkworm will eat day and night for gaining the nutrition. Okay. Then increase enormously in its size. The larvae then they are kept in the bamboo tray along with the freshly chopped mulberry leaves. About 25 to 30 days, the caterpillar stops eating. Okay, then caterpillar stops eating. So the second thing, the caterpillar develops after 20 to 30 days. Okay, then this stops eating. And enters in the next stage called pupa stage. Okay. Then what happens? After 20 to 25 to 30 days, The caterpillar stops eating and moves into a tiny chamber of the bamboo in the tray to spin its cocoon. They stop eating. They will be attaching themselves to a small place inside the bamboo tray, and they spin their cocoon. Why spinning their cocoon? Because these silkworms, they are moving their head from left to right, again from right to left, and they will be spinning the thread, and that thread has a shiny appearance. And after as it is a type of a protein, once it is dried up, it is going to get a shiny appearance. So small cracks in the twigs may be provided in the tray to which the cocoons get attached. The caterpillars of the silkworm spins a cocoon inside which it develops the silk moth. So inside the cocoon, the pupa is going to develop into the adult form, and once the adult form is going to be present, it is going to leave the cocoon, and then the cocoon will be ready for processing of the silk. Okay, now what is the processing of the silk, children? A pile of cocoon is used to obtain the silk fibers. These cocoons are kept under the sun or boiled or exposed to the steam. So just imagine that these cocoons, which are beautifully spun by this silkworm, it is going to be boiled in the hot water, or it is sun dried, or it is going to be present in the steam. So we are going to steam these cocoons. So how does the processing? The processing of silk. Okay, so how this is being done? This is being collecting the cocoons. The collection of cocoon. Cocoons are being collected, then they are being boiled or steamed, or they are sun dried for the threads to be released. Okay, so for the threads to be the threads to be loosened up. Now once these threads are being loosened up, they are going to be processed. The silk fibers spreads out. Because of the presence of the boiling steam or the water, the threads separate out. Okay, the threads separate out. The process of taking out threads from the cocoon is used. After that, the third step, that is reeling. So as soon as these threads are spreading out, they are being reeled. Reeling of silk is being done. And yes, after sun drying, this is ready for the making the silk cloths. So reeling is done in the special machines which unwinds the thread of the fiber and of the cocoon. Then silk fibers are then spun into the silk threads which is being woven into the silk cloth by the weavers. So after reeling, there are not only one silk thread, there would be number of silk thread, because one single silk thread would be not very much stronger. So for giving the strength to these silk thread, they are being woven into the thick bundles. एक साथ कई सारे सिल्क के धागों को जॉइन करके उसको क्या किया जाता है, रील कर दिया जाता है. So reeling of the silk is a process because of which the threads are being wound together. So after winding the thread, they become stronger. Now they are ready to be woven into the silk cloth, and the silk cloth is going to help in making of the fibers, in making of the fabrics. अब ये फैब्रिक जो होंगे वो हम यूटिलाइज करेंगे डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ द क्लोथ्स बनाने के. ओके, सो सिल्क साड़ीज आर बीइंग मेड, सिल्क दुपट्टास आर बीइंग मेड, सिल्क clothes are being made, of different curtains are made, then it is being used for various purposes. Okay, so this silk fiber is getting shiny appearance because it is a protein, and this is a natural protein which is being synthesized in the silkworm. And this silk moth is again getting this is adult silk moth. This is going to lay the eggs. Again that life cycle would be complete. So we'll be rearing the silk worm, not the silk moth. We will be rearing the silk worm. Silk moth जब बड़े हो जाएंगे, they will be leaving the cocoon and they will be flying away. So we'll be only left with the cocoons, and these cocoons are being boiled. After boiling, the main reason for boiling of the cocoon is that the thread becomes loosened up and it separates out easily, and the machines are being used for the further separation, and then what happens, they are being utilized for making the various silk thread. This silk thread is being 2-3 threads are being attached together, and then they are being made much more stronger. It gives strength to the silk thread, and then this silk thread is going to be made with the help of the machines. It is going to be woven into the silk clothes. Okay, then one more thing which I wanted to discuss is the discovery of silk. How the silk was being discovered. So there is one story behind the discovery of the silk. Let us see, which is given here in your blue box in your book. The exact time of the discovery of the silk is perhaps unknown. हम नहीं जानते कि कब ये सिल्क डेवलप किया गया, कब ये बना, एग्जैक्ट स्टोरी नहीं है, बट एग्जैक्ट टाइमिंग हमें नहीं पता, बट स्टिल द फेबल्स आर देयर, दी स्टोरीज आर बीइंग प्रेजेंट, बिकॉज ऑफ विच we can understand how the discovery of the silk was being made. So the exact time of the discovery of the silk is perhaps unknown. According to an old Chinese legend, the Empress Sai Longqi was asked by the Emperor Hung Ti to find the cause of the damage of the leaves of the mulberry trees growing in their garden. So the Chinese king and the queen, the empress and the emperor, they were present, and they lived where they lived. They were living in a palace, and in that palace there were many mulberry trees. So they saw that these trees, the leaves are being damaged. So they found how these tree leaves, how these mulberry leaves, why these mulberry leaves are getting damaged. So they told their workers to find out the cause of the damage to their mulberry leaves only. But none of the leaves were being damaged, only the mulberry leaves were being damaged. Why it was being done? Which insect or which animal is being they are eating up their mulberry leaves. Okay. So the empress found that a white worm eating up all the mulberry leaves very fast, and you know that silkworms are very voracious feeder of these mulberry leaves, because it is, after all, it is their favorite food. So when the empress saw that the the color of the silkworm is also white in color, so the white insect is there, some caterpillar is there, which is eating the leaves very fast. Accidentally, okay, she also noticed that while spinning a shiny cocoon around them, and she also saw that some of the insects, some of these white caterpillars, they are synthesizing, or they are producing a very fine thread which is being spinned around their body. They are slowly spinning these threads around their body, and these animals are performing this activity. They are beautifully spinning around they are making the cocoons, they are spinning this thread around their body, and later on which was known to be as the cocoon. Okay, so they saw that she also noticed that they were spinning a shiny cocoon, shiny thread around their body, and which was named to be as the cocoon. Accidentally, a cocoon dropped in a cup of tea and tangled, and a tangle of delicate threads spreads out from the cocoon. So see, every discovery, maximum discoveries are being done accidentally. So here also, when she was having a tea, then in the hot cup of tea, the one of the cocoon just dropped inside. It fell inside that cup of tea because it was having hot water inside it. Hot tea was present, so it started loosening. The thread started separating out. As you know that the boiling of the threads are being done. Boiling of the cocoon is being done for separating out the threads. But accidentally, as it was fallen down in the cup of the hot water of the tea, so it starts separating out on its own because it was the hot water. And she saw that the thread was very delicate, very shiny, and it got entangled, or very large also was there. A long thread was there which was having a shiny appearance. So silk industry began in China and was kept a close guarded secret for hundreds of years. फिर क्या हुआ कि चाइना में इसकी इंडस्ट्रीज शुरू हो गई. फिर इस तरह से एक्सीडेंटली silk cocoon was being developed and silkworm was being found. The discovery of the silkworm was there. Then the silk thread was also entangled in the cup. Then she saw that it was a shiny appearance was there. So the name was given as a silk because of its shine. And the formula was kept as a secret for hundreds of years by Chinese people. Okay, later on the travelers, they introduced the silk in their countries and other countries also, and the route which they traveled, it is called as a silk route. Okay, so silk route is the route from where these Chinese people were sending, they were exporting the silk because nobody was knowing how the silk thread is being made, how the fibers are being made, how the shiny clothes are being made, just because of the one animal which is being synthesizing the threads, and then they are being processed, and that is why the beautiful texture of these texture was being obtained. These types of the shiny clothes are being obtained from these silk fibers. That is why the formula was kept as a secret. But still, after some times, they were exporting the silk. They were exporting the fabrics also, because of which they were giving information regarding the silk fibers which is being weaved into the silk fabric, and these fabrics were utilized for making the different clothes. So what is this silk route, children? Silk route is a route, it is a way by which China was exporting the silk to different countries, because different countries were not knowing the formula for making the silk. So these people were making money, and they were not giving their formula, they were only exporting the fibers, the fabrics for making the clothes, okay, for making the silk cloth. Then after that, some of the other countries also, they started developing the silk in their country, and then they found that it is the animal which was synthesizing the thread, the shiny thread, whose name was silk, and these cocoons were being made for the processing of the silk. So I think this was about the processing of the silk, as well as how the silk fibers are obtained from the cocoon to the silk thread. Okay, so first thing is that rearing of the silkworm is being done, and silkworm rearing is being done by the farmers from egg. They will be made into a new stage called the caterpillar, which will be feeding on the mulberry leaves, because the mulberry leaves are the favorite food. I said they'll be eating, they'll be growing in its size after 15 to 20 days. They will be stop eating 20 to 30 days. They will stop eating, then they will be entering into the next stage called pupa stage. Pupa stage is going to be very, they will not be eating anything. They will just spin the cocoon around it, spinning their thread around it, and they will be keeping the body safe inside that cocoon. And further development will take place inside this cocoon. Then once the complete development will take place, this is going to synthesize, this cocoon is going to be present for a longer time, and the adult silk moth will be developed inside it. They will be flying away. Then again the silk moth is going to lay the eggs, and the cycle goes on. And what we require is a cocoon. Then these cocoons are being collected in large number, thousands के number में सो collect कर लिया जाता है. Once they are being collected, they are sun dried. Okay, sun drying करने से भी उसके जो threads होते हैं वो lose हो जाते हैं. Similarly, If they are not sun dried, they are put in the hot water for some time. They are being steamed. If it is not directly boiled, it is being steamed inside the steamers. मशीन्स होती हैं बड़ी बड़ी, वहां पर इनको स्टीम कर लिया जाता है. स्टीम करने से क्या होता है, जो सिल्क थ्रेड होता है इट सेपरेट्स आउट. द मेन रीजन इज फॉर सेपरेटिंग आउट द थ्रेड. अब जब सेपरेट हो जाएगा थ्रेड, दिस इज बीइंग यूटिलाइज्ड फॉर रीलिंग ऑफ द सिल्क. Reeling of the silk is being done by the hand sometimes, and it is also being done by the machines. Big reels are being made. After making the reels of the thread, these threads are being woven into the fabrics. फिर fabric को cut करके different types के clothes बना लिए जाते हैं. So children, this was about the explanation of the chapter regarding the wool, regarding the silk. Both of them are animal fibers. Both of them are proteins. Hair is also a protein which is obtained from the sheep. Wool is obtained from the sheep because of the hair, which is a dead protein. Then similarly, this cocoon is also a proteinaceous thread, made up of proteinaceous thread. But single thread is not very strong. It is going to be twisted and made the thread very strong. Okay, it makes the thread stronger. Both of them are natural threads. They will be attached to each other to make a long fabric. अब इस फैब्रिक को हम अलग अलग तरह से इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं. जैसे वूल को हम ठंड में स्वेटर्स के फॉर्म में पहनते हैं. सिमिलरली सिल्क को हम सिल्क साड़ी के फॉर्म में पहनते हैं, डिफरेंट क्लोथ्स के फॉर्म में पहनते हैं. सो ऑल दिस डिपेंड्स अपॉन द फैक्ट दैट हाउ दीज थ्रेड्स आर बीइंग यूटिलाइज्ड फॉर मेकिंग द फैब्रिक. सो दिस वाज द स्टोरी अबाउट द वूल फ्रॉम हेयर टू द स्वेटर. सिमिलरली फ्रॉम सिल्क, फ्रॉम cocoon to the silk threads, and then from the silk thread to the fabrics. So this was all about today's video, children, where I have discussed about all these things regarding the fabrics. And with this, your chapter is also complete. I'll be coming up with the next video with the exercises part, children. And before that, you just read out the chapter, and if you have any doubt regarding the theory part, you can ask me in your online class. So that's all for today's video. I will meet you all in the next video with the next topic to be discussed.